I dropped my coffee cup, the hot liquid splashing onto the kitchen floor as the neighbor's words echoed in my mind. Saw your wife Jenna at the mall with some guy. They looked very close. My heart raced, pounding in my chest as I tried to process what I had just heard. Jenna had always loved shopping. It was her favorite pastime, and when she heard about the local shopping marathon, she signed up immediately. I didn't think much of it at the time, believing it was just another one of her shopping sprees. I decided to spend the day with my friends, giving her the freedom to indulge in her hobby. On that first day of the marathon, Jenna met Andrew. He was charming, with an easy smile and a confident air that drew her in. They connected over their shared passion for fashion, and Andrew offered to help her pick out clothes. Jenna mentioned him briefly that evening, describing him as a friendly fellow shopper who had good taste. The next day, she left early and returned late, claiming she had found amazing deals and that the marathon was more demanding than she had anticipated. I noticed she seemed unusually happy, a sparkle in her eyes that hadn't been there for a long time. As the days passed, her absences became more frequent. She mentioned Andrew less and less, though her phone buzzed constantly with messages she never shared. One evening, as I arrived home early, I found a note on the table. Andrew, tonight was incredible. Looking forward to our next date. My mind reeled and I felt a sickening twist in my gut. I confronted Jenna, asking about Andrew. She brushed it off, saying he was just helping her with shopping. But her eyes avoided mine, and her voice wavered. I decided to follow her the next day, my suspicion eating away at me. At the mall, I saw them together, laughing and holding hands. They seemed so comfortable, so intimate. It was a scene that should have been mine, and it felt like a knife to my heart. I waited until she returned home that evening, then checked her phone while she showered. The messages between them were clear. They were having an affair. I couldn't stay silent any longer. I sought out Andrew, demanding an explanation. He seemed surprised but didn't deny their relationship. He spoke calmly, saying he loved Jenna and wanted to be with her. His confidence only made the betrayal sting more. That night, I confronted Jenna with the evidence. She denied it at first, but eventually broke down, admitting everything. She confessed that she had fallen for Andrew because he gave her the attention and excitement she felt were missing from our marriage. With a heavy heart, I realized our marriage was beyond repair. We decided to separate. The love we once had was now a painful memory. Jenna stayed with Andrew, while I began to rebuild my life, determined to move past the hurt and betrayal. As I packed my bags, leaving the home we had shared, I took one last look around. The memories of happier times were overshadowed by the pain of recent events. I walked out the door, ready to face a new chapter, leaving the past behind. Moving into my new apartment felt like stepping into a different life. The walls were bare, the rooms empty, a stark contrast to the home I had shared with Jenna. I tried to focus on the positives, fresh start, new beginnings, but the weight of betrayal lingered like a dark cloud over my thoughts. The first few weeks were the hardest. I kept myself busy unpacking, rearranging furniture and decorating, trying to make the place feel like home. Every item I placed had a purpose, a small attempt to fill the void Jenna had left. Friends and family reached out, offering support and encouragement, but I still felt an emptiness inside that no amount of kind words could fill. One evening, as I sat on the couch scrolling through old photos on my phone, a message popped up. It was from Jack, my best friend since college. "Hey man, how about a guy's night out? You need a break." Reluctantly, I agreed. Maybe a night out was exactly what I needed. Jack took me to a new bar downtown, a lively place with live music and a bustling crowd. We found a table in the corner, away from the noise, and ordered drinks. As the night went on, we talked about everything, our jobs, sports, and the latest movies, avoiding the topic that weighed on my mind. Eventually, the conversation turned serious. "How are you holding up, Tom?" Jack asked, concern in his eyes. I sighed, taking a sip of my drink. "It's tough, Jack. I feel lost, like I don't know who I am without her." Jack nodded sympathetically. "I get it. But remember, you're more than just your relationship. You have friends, family, and a future ahead of you. This is just a chapter, not the whole book." His words resonated with me, and for the first time in weeks, I felt a glimmer of hope. We finished our drinks and decided to hit the dance floor. The music was loud, the energy contagious, and for a few hours I managed to forget my troubles. The next morning, I woke up with a mild hangover but a clearer mind. I knew I needed to find a way to move forward, to rediscover myself and my passions. I decided to dive back into my hobbies, starting with running. It had always been a way for me to clear my head and find peace. Lacing up my running shoes, I set out for a jog through the park. The fresh air and rhythmic sound of my footsteps helped to clear the fog in my mind. I ran longer and farther than I had in months, pushing myself to the limit. By the time I returned home, I felt exhausted but invigorated. Over the next few weeks, I established a new routine. Mornings were for running, followed by work, and evenings spent with friends or exploring new interests. I took up cooking, experimenting with different recipes, and finding joy in creating meals from scratch. I also joined a local book club, meeting new people and engaging in lively discussions about literature. One day, while browsing through a bookstore, I met Lisa. She was standing in the fiction section, her eyes scanning the shelves. We struck up a conversation about our favorite authors, and before I knew it, we were exchanging numbers. Lisa was kind and intelligent and shared many of my interests. We started meeting regularly, and our friendship grew with each encounter. Through Lisa, I began to see that there was life after Jenna. She reminded me of the importance of connection and the possibility of new beginnings. While I was cautious about jumping into another relationship, our bond gave me hope that I could heal and find happiness again. As I continued to rebuild my life, I realized that the pain of betrayal, while profound, did not define me. I was stronger than I had imagined, capable of moving forward and embracing new experiences. With each passing day, the memories of Jenna and Andrew faded, replaced by the promise of a brighter future. I knew there would be challenges ahead, but I was ready to face them. My journey was far from over, but I was determined to navigate it with resilience and hope, embracing each new chapter as it came. Life started to regain its rhythm, the chaos and pain of the past few months slowly ebbing away. My routine had brought a sense of stability, but it was the unexpected moments that truly helped me heal. One sunny Saturday morning, I decided to visit the local farmer's market. It was something Jenna and I used to do together, but this time, it felt like an adventure I was embarking on alone. The market was bustling with life, vendors calling out their specials, children running around, and the air filled with the scent of fresh produce and flowers. As I wandered through the stalls, I found myself drawn to a booth selling homemade pastries. The woman behind the counter, an elderly lady with a warm smile, handed me a sample. "Try this, dear. It's our famous apple turnover." I took a bite, the flavors exploding in my mouth. "This is amazing," I said, smiling back at her. "Glad you like it. You look like you could use a bit of sweetness in your life," she replied with a knowing look. I bought a few pastries and continued to explore the market, feeling lighter than I had in months. It was a small moment of joy, but it reminded me that happiness could be found in the simplest things. Later that week, Lisa invited me to a charity event she was involved in. It was a fundraiser for a local animal shelter, and she thought it would be a great opportunity for me to meet new people and support a good cause. I hesitated at first, but her enthusiasm was infectious, and I agreed to go. The event was held at a beautiful park, with tents set up for various activities and games. Lisa introduced me to her friends, and we spent the afternoon playing games, bidding on auction items, and enjoying the live music. There was a sense of community and warmth that I had been missing, and I found myself genuinely enjoying the company. At one point, Lisa and I wandered over to the adoption tent. There I met Max, a playful Labrador mix with big brown eyes and a wagging tail. He seemed to take a liking to me immediately, and I couldn't resist his charm. Before I knew it, I was filling out the adoption papers, and Max became my new companion. Bringing Max home was one of the best decisions I had made. His boundless energy and unconditional love filled my days with joy and purpose. We went on long walks, played fetch in the park, and even took up running together. Max had a way of making me laugh and reminding me of the simple pleasures in life. As the weeks turned into months, I continued to build my new life. Lisa and I grew closer, our friendship deepening with each passing day. She was a constant source of support and encouragement, helping me navigate the ups and downs of my healing journey. One evening, as we sat on my porch with Max at our feet, Lisa turned to me and said, "You know, Tom, I've seen such a change in you. You're stronger and more confident. It's like you're finally coming into your own." Her words touched me deeply. I had come a long way from the broken man I once was, and I owed much of my progress to the people and experiences that had come into my life. Reflecting on the past, I realized that Jenna's betrayal, while painful, had led me to a place of growth and self-discovery. I had found new passions, made meaningful connections, and rediscovered the joy in life. I was no longer defined by my past, but by the person I was becoming. As I looked out at the sunset, a sense of peace washed over me. I knew there would still be challenges ahead, but with Max by my side and the support of friends like Lisa, I felt ready to face whatever came next. My journey was far from over, but I embraced each new chapter with hope and resilience, knowing that the best was yet to come. Months turned into a year, and my life settled into a comfortable routine. The apartment had become a home, filled with memories of new beginnings and quiet joys. Max, ever loyal and loving, had become my constant companion, his presence a daily reminder of the healing power of love. Lisa and I had grown inseparable, our bond deepening with each passing day. Despite my initial hesitation to enter a new relationship, she had been patient and understanding, allowing our connection to grow naturally. It wasn't long before I realized that what we had was special, something worth nurturing and protecting. One crisp autumn morning, Lisa and I decided to take Max for a hike in the nearby mountains. The leaves had turned vibrant shades of red, orange, and yellow, painting the landscape in breathtaking beauty. We set off early, eager to escape the city and immerse ourselves in nature. As we hiked up the winding trails, we talked about everything and nothing, our dreams, our fears, and the future. It was during a quiet moment, as we paused to catch our breath and take in the stunning view, that Lisa turned to me with a serious expression. "Tom, there's something I've been meaning to tell you," she began, her voice steady but tinged with nervousness. I looked at her, concerned. "What is it?" She took a deep breath, her eyes locking with mine. "I've been offered a job in San Francisco. It's an amazing opportunity, and I'd love to take it, but I can't imagine leaving you behind." The words hung in the air, heavy with implications. My heart sank at the thought of her leaving, but I knew this was something she had worked hard for and deserved. I reached out, taking her hand in mine. "Lisa, that's incredible news. You have to take it," I said, forcing a smile. "We'll figure things out." She squeezed my hand, relief flooding her features. "I was hoping you'd say that, but I don't want to lose what we have." I nodded, understanding her fears. "We won't. We'll make it work, no matter what. We can visit each other, and who knows? Maybe I'll find a way to join you out there." The uncertainty of our future was daunting, but I was determined to support Lisa in her dreams, just as she had supported me in mine. We continued our hike, the conversation shifting to plans and possibilities, the initial anxiety giving way to excitement. As the weeks passed, Lisa prepared for her move, and I began to consider my own options. The idea of leaving everything I had built here was daunting, but the thought of starting anew in San Francisco was equally exhilarating. I decided to explore job opportunities in the city, hopeful that I could find something that would allow me to be with Lisa. One evening, as I was scrolling through job listings, I received an email that caught my eye. It was from a tech startup in San Francisco, looking for someone with my skills and experience. I applied immediately, my heart racing with anticipation. A few days later, I received a call from the company, inviting me for an interview. It felt like a sign, a chance to start a new chapter with Lisa by my side. The interview went well, and within a week I received an offer. It was more than I could have hoped for, and I accepted without hesitation. When I told Lisa the news, her eyes filled with tears of joy. "Tom, this is amazing. I can't believe it. We're really doing this." We spent the next few weeks preparing for our move, packing up our belongings, and saying goodbye to friends and family. It was a bittersweet time, but the promise of a new adventure kept our spirits high. The day we left for San Francisco, Max by our side, I felt a mix of excitement and nervousness. We were stepping into the unknown, but we were doing it together, and that made all the difference. As we drove away from the city that had been our home, I glanced over at Lisa, her face glowing with happiness. I knew that whatever challenges lay ahead, we would face them together, our bond stronger than ever. San Francisco welcomed us with open arms, the city's energy and vibrancy a perfect backdrop for our new life. We settled into a cozy apartment with a view of the bay, and Max quickly adapted to his new surroundings, enjoying the parks and beaches. My new job was challenging but rewarding, and Lisa thrived in her new role. We made new friends, explored the city's many attractions, and built a life that was rich with experiences and love. Looking back on the journey that had brought us here, I realized how far I had come. From the depths of betrayal and heartbreak, I had found love, purpose, and a new beginning. The future was bright, and I was ready to embrace it, one step at a time. San Francisco's vibrant energy infused every corner of our new life. The city's steep hills, iconic bridges, and eclectic neighborhoods provided a fresh backdrop for the next chapter of our story. Our apartment, cozy and filled with light, overlooked the bay, and Max had quickly made friends with the other dogs in our building. The first few months were a whirlwind of settling in. My new job at the tech startup was both challenging and exciting, filled with late-night coding sessions and brainstorming meetings. I was surrounded by passionate people, all driven by innovation and creativity. Lisa was flourishing in her new role, and her happiness was contagious. One Saturday morning, we decided to explore Golden Gate Park. The sun was shining, and the park was bustling with people jogging, biking, and enjoying picnics. Max bounded ahead of us, his tail wagging furiously. We found a quiet spot by a pond, spread out a blanket, and settled in for a picnic. "This city is amazing," Lisa said, looking around with a smile. "I can't believe we live here now." I nodded, feeling a deep sense of contentment. It's everything we hoped for and more. As we relaxed, an elderly couple walked by, their steps slow and deliberate. They smiled at us and continued on their way, holding hands. I watched them, thinking about the journey Lisa and I had been on. The ups and downs, the challenges we had faced, and the joy we had found in each other. A few days later, at work, my boss called me into his office. "Tom, we've been really impressed with your work. We have a new project coming up, and I'd like you to lead it." I was thrilled by the opportunity. Leading a project in such a dynamic environment was a significant milestone in my career. I accepted the offer, eager to dive into the challenge. That evening, I shared the news with Lisa over dinner. She beamed with pride. "I knew you'd do great things here." Her support meant everything to me. We celebrated with a bottle of wine, toasting our future and the exciting opportunities ahead. As the months passed, our lives settled into a comfortable rhythm. We explored the city's many neighborhoods, from the bustling streets of Chinatown to the bohemian vibe of Haight-Ashbury. We took weekend trips to Napa Valley, hiked through Muir Woods, and enjoyed lazy afternoons at the beach. One evening, as we were walking along the Embarcadero, watching the lights of the Bay Bridge twinkle against the night sky, Lisa turned to me with a thoughtful expression. "Tom, there's something I've been thinking about," she began. I looked at her, curious. "What is it?" "I love our life here, and I've been so happy, but I think I'm ready for the next step. I want us to start a family." Her words took me by surprise, but as I looked into her eyes, I realized it was something I wanted too. The thought of building a future with Lisa, of creating a home filled with love and laughter, filled me with a sense of purpose. "I want that too," I said, taking her hand. "Let's do it." Over the next few months, we began planning for our future. We found a bigger apartment with a second bedroom, perfect for a nursery. We talked about names, shared our hopes and dreams, and took comfort in the knowledge that we were embarking on this journey together. One spring morning, Lisa took a pregnancy test and came out of the bathroom with a wide smile. "We're going to be parents," she said, her voice trembling with emotion. Tears of joy filled my eyes as I hugged her, feeling a deep sense of gratitude for the life we were building. Max barked happily, sensing our excitement. Our journey had been filled with unexpected twists and turns, but it had led us to this beautiful moment. As we stood there, holding each other, I knew that no matter what challenges lay ahead, we would face them together, our love growing stronger with each passing day. The news of Lisa's pregnancy brought a new kind of excitement and anticipation into our lives. Our days were filled with preparations, doctor's appointments, and endless conversations about the future. The spare bedroom in our new apartment gradually transformed into a cozy nursery, complete with a crib, soft toys, and a rocking chair. One Saturday afternoon, we decided to paint the nursery. We chose a soft, calming shade of yellow that would be perfect for a boy or a girl. As we painted, We talked about our hopes and dreams for our children, imagining what kind of person they would grow up to be. "Do you think they'll have your love for running?" Lisa asked, dipping her brush into the paint. "Maybe," I replied with a smile. "Or maybe they'll take after you and have a passion for books and learning." We laughed, dreaming up different scenarios, each one more delightful than the last. It was a happy time, filled with optimism and joy. As Lisa's due date approached, we attended birthing classes together. We learned about the stages of labor, practiced breathing techniques, and even took a tour of the hospital where our baby would be born. The classes made the whole experience feel more real, and they helped ease some of our anxieties about the big day. One evening, after a particularly informative class, we decided to go out for dinner. We found a quaint little Italian restaurant with candlelit tables and a warm, inviting atmosphere. As we enjoyed our meal, Lisa placed her hand on her belly and smiled. "He's kicking," she said, her eyes lighting up. I reached over and placed my hand next to hers, feeling the gentle movements of our baby. It was a moment of pure magic, a reminder of the incredible journey we were on. We continued to build our life in San Francisco, enjoying the city's many offerings and making new friends. Lisa joined a prenatal yoga class where she met other expectant mothers. They formed a close-knit group, supporting each other through the ups and downs of pregnancy. Meanwhile, I threw myself into my work, leading my new project with enthusiasm. The startup was growing rapidly, and my team's hard work was paying off. We launched a new product that received rave reviews, and my boss praised my leadership skills. It was a gratifying feeling, knowing that I was making a positive impact. One evening, as I was working late at the office, I received a call from Lisa. Her voice was calm but urgent. "Tom, I think it's time. My contractions have started." My heart raced as I grabbed my things and hurried home. When I arrived, Lisa was ready, her bag packed, and a look of determination on her face. We drove to the hospital, both excited and nervous, knowing that our lives were about to change forever. The labor was long and challenging, but Lisa was incredible. She faced each contraction with strength and courage, her determination unwavering. I held her hand, offering words of encouragement and feeling a profound sense of awe at her resilience. Finally, after what felt like an eternity, our baby was born, a beautiful, healthy baby boy. As the nurse placed him in Lisa's arms, tears of joy streamed down our faces. We named him Ethan, a name that held special meaning for both of us. Holding Ethan for the first time was an indescribable experience. His tiny fingers wrapped around mine, and I felt an overwhelming surge of love and protectiveness. At that moment, I knew that I would do anything for him and that our family was my greatest treasure. We brought Ethan home, and our apartment filled with the sweet sounds of a newborn. The sleepless nights, the endless diaper changes, and the constant feedings were exhausting, but each moment was also filled with wonder and joy. Max was curious and gentle with Ethan, often lying next to his crib as if guarding him. Our days took on a new rhythm, centered around our little one. Friends and family visited, showering us with love and support. Lisa and I navigated the challenges of parenthood together, learning as we went and growing closer with each shared experience. As I sat in the rocking chair one evening, Ethan asleep in my arms, I thought about the journey that had brought us here. From the heartbreak and betrayal of the past to the incredible love and joy of the present, life has come full circle. We had faced our challenges and emerged stronger, ready to embrace whatever the future held. Our family was complete, and I felt a deep sense of gratitude for the life we had built. With Lisa by my side and Ethan in my arms, I knew that we could face anything, together. Parenthood brought a new kind of rhythm to our lives, filled with both unexpected challenges and profound joys. Ethan quickly became the center of our world, and every milestone, his first smile, his first laugh, his first steps, filled us with a sense of wonder and accomplishment. Our days were busy but fulfilling. Lisa and I took turns with night feedings, diaper changes, and soothing Ethan when he cried. Despite the exhaustion, we found a balance that worked for us, supporting each other through the ups and downs of parenthood. Max, ever the loyal companion, continued to watch over Ethan with gentle curiosity, his presence a comforting constant. On one particularly challenging night, Ethan was unusually fussy. No matter what we did, he wouldn't settle down. Lisa and I took turns walking him around the apartment, singing lullabies and trying to calm him. The hours dragged on, and we were both on the verge of tears from exhaustion. As the first light of dawn began to filter through the windows, Ethan finally drifted off to sleep in my arms. I looked over at Lisa, who was sitting on the couch, her head in her hands. "Why don't you go get some rest?" I suggested softly. "I'll take care of him for now." She looked up at me, her eyes red-rimmed but grateful. "Thank you, Tom. I don't know what I'd do without you." We had always been a team, but parenthood had brought us even closer together. We learned to lean on each other in new ways, finding strength in our partnership and in the love we shared for our son. As Ethan grew, we made an effort to create a strong support network. We joined a local parenting group where we met other new parents and exchanged tips and advice. It was reassuring to know we weren't alone in our struggles, and we formed lasting friendships with people who understood what we were going through. One couple, Mike and Emily, became particularly close friends. They had a baby girl, Sophie, who was just a few months older than Ethan. We often spent weekends together, watching our children play and sharing the joys and frustrations of parenthood. One sunny afternoon, we all decided to have a picnic in Golden Gate Park. The children played on a blanket, while we adults enjoyed a rare moment of relaxation. As we talked, I felt a deep sense of community and belonging. "Can you believe how far we've come?" Mike said, raising his glass. "From sleepless nights to this." We all laughed, toasting the small victories and the journey of parenthood. It was a reminder that, despite the challenges, we were doing something incredible, raising our children with love and care. Back at home, Lisa and I continued to juggle our careers and family life. My project at the startup was progressing well, and I was proud of the work my team was doing. Lisa's job remained demanding, but she managed to find a balance that allowed her to spend quality time with Ethan. One evening, after putting Ethan to bed, we sat down together to talk about our future. We had been so focused on the present that we hadn't taken much time to plan ahead. "Tom, I've been thinking," Lisa began, a thoughtful look on her face. "What if we moved to a bigger place? Somewhere with a yard for Ethan to play in and maybe even space for another child someday." The idea excited me. "I think that's a great idea. We've made this apartment work, but it would be nice to have more room to grow." We started looking at houses in family-friendly neighborhoods, considering schools and parks in our search. It was a big step, but one we were ready to take. The thought of building a home where our family could thrive filled us with hope and anticipation. As we navigated this new phase of our lives, I felt a deep sense of gratitude for the journey we had been on. From the pain of the past to the joy of our present, each experience has shaped us and brought us to this point. We had faced our challenges head-on, emerging stronger and more united than ever. With each new day, we continued to write our story, one filled with love, resilience, and the promise of a bright future. The road ahead might be unpredictable, but with Lisa, Ethan, and Max by my side, I knew we could handle whatever came our way. The search for a new home was both exciting and daunting. We spent our weekends visiting potential neighborhoods, touring houses, and imagining where our family could grow. Each house had its charm, but we were looking for a place that felt like it was meant for us. On Saturday, our real estate agent called with news of a newly listed house in a quiet, tree-lined neighborhood. We decided to check it out, hopeful that this could be the one. As we pulled up to the house, I immediately felt a sense of warmth. It was a charming two-story home with a welcoming front porch and a spacious backyard. Inside, the house was filled with natural light, and the rooms were spacious and inviting. Lisa and I exchanged a look, both of us feeling that this place had potential. Ethan toddled around, his curiosity piqued by the new surroundings. "This feels right," Lisa said, smiling as she looked around. "I can see us here." I nodded in agreement. "Me too. Let's put in an offer." After a tense week of waiting, we received the news we had hoped for. Our offer was accepted. The joy and relief were overwhelming. We had found our new home, a place where our family could continue to grow and create memories. The moving day was a flurry of activity. Friends and family came to help, and soon our new house was filled with boxes and laughter. Ethan explored every nook and cranny, his excitement contagious. Max, ever the loyal companion, followed him around, his tail wagging happily. Once everything was in place, Lisa and I stood in the middle of our new living room, taking it all in. "We did it," I said, wrapping my arm around her. She leaned into me, her eyes shining. It's the start of a new chapter. Life in our new home quickly settled into a comfortable rhythm. We planted a garden in the backyard, where Ethan loved to play and Max enjoyed basking in the sun. We got to know our neighbors, forming a tight-knit community that felt like an extended family. One evening, as we were sitting on the porch watching the sunset, Lisa turned to me with a thoughtful expression. "Tom, I've been thinking about what you said when we moved here, about making space for another child." I looked at her, my heart swelling with love. "Are you saying what I think you're saying?" She nodded, her smile widening. "Yes, I think it's time we start trying for another baby." The prospect of expanding our family filled me with excitement. We had found our stride as parents, and the idea of welcoming another child into our lives felt like the natural next step. We spent the following months preparing, our home and hearts ready to grow. A few months later, we received the news we had been hoping for. Lisa was pregnant. The joy was just as profound as the first time, and we couldn't wait to meet our new addition. Ethan, though still young, seemed to sense the excitement, often patting Lisa's growing belly and babbling about his baby. As the pregnancy progressed, we involved Ethan in the preparations. He helped choose toys and books for the nursery, and we spent evenings reading stories about becoming a big brother. His enthusiasm was heartwarming, and it reassured us that he would embrace his new role with love. The day finally arrived when Lisa went into labor. This time we felt more prepared, having been through it before. We dropped Ethan off with Mike and Emily, who had become our trusted friends and support system, and headed to the hospital. The labor was challenging, but Lisa was as strong and determined as ever. Holding her hand, I felt a deep sense of admiration and gratitude. When our baby girl Ava was born, the joy and relief were indescribable. She was perfect, with a full head of dark hair and a tiny scrunched-up face. We brought Ava home to a house filled with love and anticipation. Ethan was curious and gentle, already taking his role as a big brother seriously. Max seemed to understand the significance of the new arrival, staying close and watching over Ava with protective eyes. Our days were once again filled with the beautiful chaos of a newborn. The sleepless nights, the endless feedings, and the tender moments of holding Ava close were all reminders of the incredible journey we were on. Lisa and I navigated this new phase with a sense of partnership and love that had only deepened with time. One evening, as I rocked Ava to sleep, I looked around our home, filled with the sounds of our growing family. Lisa was reading a bedtime story to Ethan, her voice soft and soothing. Max lay at their feet, content and watchful. At that moment, I felt an overwhelming sense of gratitude. We had come so far, from the depths of betrayal and heartbreak to the heights of joy and fulfillment. Our family was our greatest achievement, a testament to our resilience and love. As I placed Ava in her crib and kissed her goodnight, I knew that the future held endless possibilities. With Lisa, Ethan, Ava, and Max by my side, I was ready to embrace whatever came next, confident in the strength of our family and the love that bound us together. Life with 2 children brought a new level of busyness to our household, but also an even greater sense of fulfillment. Ethan quickly adapted to his role as a big brother, always eager to help Ava. He would bring her toys, sing her songs, and try to make her laugh. Watching their bond grow was one of the greatest joys of parenthood. As Ava grew, she developed a personality that was both distinct and charming. She had Lisa's inquisitiveness and stubborn streak, always curious and determined to explore her world. Ethan was her biggest fan, often showing her how to do things and encouraging her every step of the way. One sunny afternoon, we decided to take a family trip to the beach. It was Ava's first time seeing the ocean, and Ethan was excited to show her the waves and build sandcastles together. We packed a picnic, loaded up the car, and set off for a day of fun and relaxation. When we arrived, the beach was bustling with families and the sounds of laughter. Ethan immediately ran to the water's edge, his excitement infectious. Lisa and I spread out a blanket while Ava sat between us, her wide eyes taking in the sights and sounds. "Look, Ava, the ocean!" Ethan exclaimed, waving her over. Lisa carried Ava to the water, her tiny feet dipping into the cool waves. Ava giggled, her laughter blending with the sound of the surf. I watched them, feeling a deep sense of contentment. Moments like these, filled with simple joys and the love of family, were what life was all about. We spent the day playing in the sand, splashing in the waves, and enjoying our picnic. As the sun began to set, we gathered around to watch the sky turn brilliant shades of orange and pink. Ethan and Ava sat together, their faces glowing in the fading light, and I knew this was a memory we would cherish forever. Back at home, our days continued to be filled with the routines of family life. Ethan started preschool, and watching him make friends and learn new things brought a sense of pride. Lisa and I took turns dropping him off and picking him up, always eager to hear about his day. Ava, meanwhile, was growing quickly. She reached milestones with determination, and every new word and step was a cause for celebration. Max was always nearby, his protective nature ensuring he was never far from the children. One evening, after the kids were asleep, Lisa and I sat on the porch, enjoying a rare moment of quiet. The stars were out, and the night air was cool and refreshing. "Tom, I've been thinking," Lisa began, her voice soft. "We've been so focused on the kids and work, but I think it's important that we make time for ourselves too." I nodded, understanding where she was coming from. "You're right. We need to take care of our relationship, not just our family." We decided to set aside one evening a week for a date night. Whether it was going out to dinner, taking a walk, or simply watching a movie together, it was our time to reconnect and focus on each other. Those evenings became a cherished tradition, a reminder of the love that had brought us together in the first place. Our careers continued to thrive as well. I took on more responsibilities at the startup, and my team's success led to a promotion. Lisa's work remained fulfilling, and she found a balance that allowed her to excel professionally while being an amazing mother. As the months passed, our family grew even closer. We celebrated holidays, birthdays, and milestones together, creating a tapestry of memories that would last a lifetime. Our home was filled with laughter, love, and the comforting routines of family life. One evening, as we gathered around the dinner table, Ethan excitedly shared a story from school, while Ava babbled happily in her high chair. Lisa and I exchanged a look of contentment, knowing that we had built something truly special. "Here's to us," I said, raising my glass. "To our family and all the adventures yet to come." Lisa smiled, her eyes shining with love. "To us." As we clinked glasses, I felt a deep sense of gratitude for the journey we had been on. From the challenges we had faced to the joys we now embraced, our story was one of resilience, love, and the unbreakable bonds of family. With Lisa, Ethan, Ava, and Max by my side, I knew that whatever the future held, we would face it together, stronger and more united than ever. The best was yet to come, and I was ready to embrace it with open arms. As the seasons changed, so did our family. The children continued to grow and surprise us every day with their newfound abilities and insights. Ethan's curiosity knew no bounds, and Ava's infectious laughter filled our home with joy. Max remained our faithful guardian, always by the children's side. One spring morning, we decided to take a family trip to the countryside. We found a charming bed and breakfast surrounded by rolling hills and blooming wildflowers. It was the perfect escape from the bustle of city life, a chance to reconnect with nature and each other. Upon arrival, we were greeted by the friendly owners, a retired couple named John and Mary. They showed us to our cozy rooms and invited us to join them for a homemade dinner that evening. The children were thrilled by the new surroundings, and we spent the afternoon exploring the property. Ethan and Ava chased butterflies, their laughter echoing across the fields. Lisa and I held hands, walking along the winding paths and breathing in the fresh, fragrant air. It was a perfect day, and as the sun began to set, we gathered around the dinner table with John and Mary. Over a delicious meal, we shared stories and laughter. John and Mary told us about their own children and grandchildren, and we talked about our life in San Francisco. The warmth and hospitality of our hosts made us feel like part of their family. That night, as we tucked Ethan and Ava into bed, I felt a deep sense of peace. Watching them sleep, their faces serene and content, I knew we were creating memories that would stay with them forever. The next morning, John offered to take us on a hike to a nearby waterfall. We eagerly accepted, packing a picnic and setting off on the adventure. The trail led us through a dense forest, the canopy above filtering the sunlight into a soft green glow. Ethan and Ava marveled at the towering trees and the sounds of birds singing overhead. When we reached the waterfall, The sight was breathtaking. Water cascaded down the rocks into a crystal-clear pool, and a rainbow formed in the mist. We spread out our picnic blanket and enjoyed a leisurely lunch, the sound of the rushing water creating a soothing backdrop. Ethan and Ava played by the edge of the pool, their laughter blending with the sounds of nature. Lisa and I sat together, taking in the beauty around us and feeling grateful for these precious moments. As we headed back to the bed and breakfast, John shared his thoughts on family and the importance of cherishing every moment. His words resonated with me, reminding me of how far we had come and the journey still ahead. The rest of our stay was filled with more adventures and quality time together. We visited local farms, picked fresh berries, and even tried our hand at milking cows. Each experience brought us closer as a family, creating a tapestry of memories that would last a lifetime. On our last night, as we gathered around a bonfire, John and Mary surprised us with a small gift, a photo album filled with pictures they had taken during our stay. Flipping through the pages, I was moved by the moments they had captured, each one a testament to the love and joy we had shared. Back in San Francisco, we returned to our daily routines, but the memories of our countryside trip stayed with us. Lisa and I continued to prioritize our date nights, finding new ways to keep our relationship strong. The children thrived, their bond growing deeper with each passing day. One evening, as we sat on the porch watching the stars, Lisa turned to me with a smile. "Tom, I've been thinking about something." I looked at her, curious. "What is it?" "Remember how much we enjoyed the bed and breakfast? What if we found a place like that of our own? A retreat where we can escape to and share with others." The idea excited me. I love that. A place where we can create memories, not just for us, but for other families too. We began to dream and plan, searching for the perfect property. It took time, but eventually we found it. A beautiful piece of land with an old farmhouse that had so much potential. We invested our savings and poured our hearts into renovating it, transforming it into a cozy retreat where families could come to relax, reconnect, and make lasting memories. The process was challenging, but it brought us even closer as a family. We involved Ethan and Ava in every step, teaching them the value of hard work and the joy of creating something meaningful. The day we opened our doors to guests, we felt a sense of accomplishment and pride. Families came from near and far, each bringing their own stories and experiences. We watched as they explored the land, enjoyed the homemade meals, and made memories just as we had. Our retreat became a place of love, laughter, and connection. It was our way of giving back, of sharing the happiness we had found. And in doing so, we continued to grow and thrive, our family bond stronger than ever. As I stood on the porch one evening, watching Ethan and Ava chase fireflies in the twilight, I felt a deep sense of gratitude. Life had taken us on a remarkable journey, one filled with challenges and triumphs. But through it all, we had found our way together. With Lisa by my side and our children at the heart of our lives, I knew that the future was bright. Whatever lay ahead, we would face it with love, resilience, and the unbreakable bond of family. Our retreat flourished, becoming a beloved haven for families seeking respite from their busy lives. The farmhouse was always filled with laughter and the sound of children playing, a constant reminder of the joy and love we had worked so hard to cultivate. The once empty fields now bloomed with wildflowers, and our garden yielded fresh produce that we shared with our guests. Ethan and Ava thrived in this environment, growing up with a deep appreciation for nature and community. They made friends with the children who visited, sharing their favorite spots on the property and teaching them about the animals we had started raising: chickens, goats, and even a couple of friendly sheep. One sunny afternoon, as we were planting a new batch of seedlings in the garden, Ethan looked up at me, his face serious. "Dad, do you think we'll always live here?" I paused, considering his question. "I hope so, Ethan. This place has become our home, and it's filled with so many wonderful memories." Ava, who had been quietly digging a hole for her seedling, looked up and added, "And we get to share it with so many people. It's like we're making new friends all the time." Lisa joined us, wiping her hands on her apron. "And it's all thanks to you two. You've made this place special for everyone who visits." We continued working in the garden, the sense of fulfillment and purpose filling our hearts. Each day brought new challenges and rewards, but we faced them together, united by our love for each other and our commitment to our retreat. As the years passed, our retreat became a cherished tradition for many families. We hosted seasonal events, harvest festivals in the fall, holiday gatherings in the winter, and outdoor adventures in the spring and summer. Each event was a celebration of life, bringing people together to create lasting memories. One winter, as we prepared for our annual holiday festival, we received an unexpected visit from a journalist who had heard about our retreat and wanted to write a feature story. She spent a few days with us, capturing the essence of our home and the impact it had on our guests. The article was published in a popular magazine, and soon our little retreat was receiving attention from all over. Families from distant places began to book their stays, eager to experience the warmth and hospitality that had become our hallmark. Despite the growing popularity, we remained true to our roots. We continued to welcome each family personally, ensuring that every guest felt like part of our extended family. The joy we found in sharing our home never waned, and the bonds we formed with our guests enriched our lives in ways we had never imagined. One spring evening, as the sun set over the hills and cast a golden glow on the farmhouse, Lisa and I sat on the porch, reflecting on how far we had come. "Can you believe it?" Lisa said, her eyes shining with pride. "We've built something truly special here." I nodded, feeling a deep sense of gratitude. "We have, and it's all because of the love and hard work we've put into it." Ethan and Ava joined us, their faces flushed from playing outside. "Mom, Dad, can we go see the fireflies?" Ava asked, her eyes wide with excitement. "Of course," Lisa replied, smiling. "Let's go." We walked together to the edge of the field, where the fireflies were beginning to dance in the twilight. Ethan and Ava ran ahead, their laughter echoing in the stillness of the evening. Lisa and I held hands, watching our children with a sense of wonder. As the fireflies flickered around us, I thought about the journey we had been on. From the heartbreak of the past to the fulfillment of the present, we have created a life filled with love, resilience, and endless possibilities. Our retreat was more than just a home. It was a legacy, a testament to the strength of our family and the power of hope. At that moment, surrounded by the beauty of nature and the love of my family, I knew that we had truly found our place in the world. Whatever the future held, we would face it together, confident in the knowledge that our bond could weather any storm. With Lisa, Ethan, Ava, and Max by my side, I felt ready to embrace all the adventures yet to come. Our story was far from over, and I was excited to see where the next chapter would lead us. Years flowed by, each one bringing with it new challenges, joys, and unforgettable moments. Ethan and Ava grew into remarkable young adults, their hearts rooted in the values we had instilled in them. Our retreat had flourished, becoming a beacon of warmth and community for all who visited. One autumn day, as the leaves turned vibrant shades of red and gold, we gathered for our annual harvest festival. This year felt especially poignant, as it marked the 10th anniversary of our retreat. The air was filled with the scent of apple cider and roasted chestnuts, and laughter echoed through the fields as children played games and families shared stories around the bonfire. As the sun set, casting a golden glow over the farmhouse, Lisa and I took a moment to reflect on our journey. We stood at the edge of the property, looking out over the land that had become so dear to us. "We've come a long way," Lisa said softly, her hand resting in mine. "It's hard to believe how much has changed." I nodded, feeling a lump in my throat. "This place has given us so much. It's become more than just a home. It's a part of who we are." We watched as Ethan and Ava moved through the crowd, their faces alight with joy. Ethan was now in college, studying environmental science with a passion for sustainability that he had developed here. Ava, still in high school, had discovered a love for photography, capturing the beauty of our retreat and the people who visited. As the evening drew to a close, we gathered around the bonfire for the final event of the festival, the telling of our family's story. It had become a tradition, a way to share our journey and the values that had guided us. Lisa and I took turns recounting the early days, the challenges we had faced, and the love that had carried us through. Ethan and Ava added their own memories, sharing what the retreat had meant to them and how it had shaped their lives. When the stories were finished, there was a moment of quiet reflection. The fire crackled and the stars twinkled overhead. I looked around at the faces of our guests, friends, old and new, and felt an overwhelming sense of gratitude. Standing up, I raised my glass, Here's to our family, our friends, and the journey we've shared. This retreat has been a labor of love, a dream that we've built together. Thank you for being a part of it. The crowd cheered and glasses clinked together. As the festivities continued, I took a moment to walk through the fields, the cool night air filling my lungs. I found myself at the edge of the property, where a small wooden bench overlooked the valley below. Sitting down, I thought about the future. Our retreat was thriving, but I knew there were still many adventures ahead. I was excited to see what the next chapter would bring, not just for our family, but for all the people who would come to share in our dream. Lisa joined me, sitting down and resting her head on my shoulder. "What are you thinking about?" she asked. "Just how lucky we are," I replied, "and how much I'm looking forward to the future." She smiled, her eyes reflecting the firelight. "Me too. Whatever comes next, we'll face it together." We sat in companionable silence, watching the stars and feeling the peace of the night. The journey we had begun so many years ago had brought us to this moment, and I knew that whatever lay ahead, we would face it with the same love and resilience that had guided us from the start. As the first light of dawn began to creep over the horizon, I felt a sense of renewal. A new day was beginning, filled with endless possibilities. With Lisa, Ethan, Ava, and Max by my side, I knew that our story was far from over. Standing up, I took Lisa's hand, and we walked back toward the farmhouse, ready to embrace the future and all the adventures it held. Our retreat was not just a place, it was a testament to our journey, a legacy of love and hope that would continue to inspire and bring joy for generations to come.